Hey, welcome back to Danford Golf Instruction. Today we are going to use a PVC pipe that you can get at your local hardware store. All right, it's ½ inch, whatever it is. All right, but it needs to be about 4 or 5 feet long. Okay, because what we're going to do today is we're going to take you through your entire basic swing. We're going to talk about how to fix the inside takeaway, how to make sure your shoulders turn correctly, where the club should be at the top, and by how you turn your shoulders correctly, what your hips look like, and then again, how your shoulders turn correctly, what it should look like at impact. Right, so we're going to break down the entire swing. We're going to use the PVC pipe today, and then towards the end of the video, I'm going to show you what you can do at home, all right, to basically help you groove the swing that you really want. All right, so always make sure you subscribe, hit the little bell button, so you can always see the videos that we come out with next, and we appreciate your subscriptions and your views. So the first thing that we're going to cover is just basically your setup, just real quick, because if you haven't seen any of the past videos on setup, I'll make sure I put a little card up in the corner so you can see some of the videos on setup. So the first thing you need to do, you can take your club or your PVC pipe, you're going to put it underneath your nose, it's going to touch your belt buckle, and then it should go right between your legs. So your back, when you do this correctly, should be pretty straight. Okay, and then as the club gets longer, just understand that you will have more axis tilt, so it'll touch the inside of your leg, especially as you get to a driver. All right, you never want to see your spine leaning left or even straight up and down with your driver. We want to always have, as the club becomes longer, a little bit more tilt, especially with the driver, because we kind of want to hit up at it a little bit. Okay, from there, let's just go through how I want you to warm up with your PVC pipe. Right, and this is something that you can do for warm up. This is something that you can do to learn the movements. Just put it over your back, all right, and then as you turn, all right, I want you to feel like your shoulders are going to turn right on top of the angle. Okay, so you see my shoulders haven't gone flat. All right, they're turning underneath, basically as I stay in my spine angle. Okay. A few things you're going to notice. You can see I'm not trying to open my hips, but they're automatically opening for me because I'm turning my body correctly. All right, if you look from down the line, if you watch my knees, you're going to see that they're not crazy overactive. Okay, for a lot of those people who come back and their shoulders turn flat and their hips come forward, those are a lot of our early extenders. Okay, and then every once in a while we have somebody who turns too steep and then they pop out of it. Again, those can be also an early extender, it's just a different way. So you got to make sure that you feel like you stay right on top of your spine as you turn back and through. It's a good drill to help you feel what it should feel like if you pay attention to how your shoulders and your hips turn, and it's an easy way for you to feel just a little bit more stretch in your body. So that's a great way to start off. All right, so now the inside takeaway and where your hand should be at top, I'm going to put those at the end of the video, because I need a wall to do that, and we're going to do that at home so you can really start to groove your swing when we get to home. So now we'll just talk about impact, because we can do that really anywhere. So again, the shoulder pipes over your back, and as you turn through, okay, a few things that you're going to notice: the hips are open, right? A lot of us tend to be early hip spinners because we're really trying to get our hips open. If you've seen my past videos, I am a believer that as soon as your shoulders get back to square here and your arms are about level with your belt, that basically everything should look like a one-piece image right here. There shouldn't be too much separation, shoulders shouldn't be too open, everything like that. So I like to see good turn back, and then as the shoulders and everything come down, everything is square here. All right, and then if we do that from face on, you can kind of see how open your body will still get. So that might feel really close to a lot of you right there. If you spin those hips open, the chest open a little bit too quick, you're going to lose that ability to lag it, because remember, it's always a product of good rhythm, good timing, good body movements to lag the club. You can't force it. When we get back here, everything's square, and you can see the club's pretty much lagged. All right, I haven't done a bunch of crazy stuff there. All right, and then if you would just turn your shoulders correctly, to where it gets here, where the shoulder's still pointing down, I'm still in my posture, all right, you can still see how much the hips get open at impact, right? So there, hips are still open at impact. You've got that shaft leaning forward, which everybody wants, to make sure you hit ball first, then ground, all right? And then if we look at it from face on, we turn through, you can see how the shoulders and the hips and everything can still get open, even though when you get just down to right here, everything might feel super square, maybe even really close to you, but as if you keep on turning through, right, you'll get that forward shaft lean, you'll get everything that you need to make that proper impact position. Right now, it doesn't work if your shoulders come up. If you dive down even more, it's going to be really hard. So that's why we're trying to stay in our posture and turn right on top of our spine the entire golf swing. You get really good at that, and this is just a really simple move that you can do to help you loosen up and to really make sure you understand what it feels like to turn on top of yourself. All right, your body's going to do the rest if you know how to stay in your posture and how your shoulders should move. Okay? All right, so stay tuned for the rest of our video. All right, now we'll talk about how to use a wall to help you. Let's talk about first how to fix that inside takeaway. So pretty simply, when you set up to the wall, I want you to set up with basically, let's say, a fist width away from the wall. Okay, and as you take the club back, if you're somebody who struggles with taking the club inside, you'll run into it very simply. Okay, you can make this harder and move even closer to the wall, right? Because if you take it inside, you'll just hit a little bit sooner. All right, so right off the bat, a very simple way for you to start feeling what a good takeaway should feel like is if you just have something behind you, you can put a pool noodle, anything in the ground, just so you don't run into it. All right, that's my son over there. He's 2.5. He wanted to come out and play golf with us today. All right, so just practice what it feels like so you don't take the club inside and you don't run it into the wall. The next part, all right, I want that fist width away from the wall again with your butt. All right, you're gonna take the club, you're gonna cross it over your shoulders. Pretty simply, just cross it over your shoulders like that. And then when you set up to it and you take it back, if you're turning too flat, so if you're somebody who's not staying in the posture and turning too flat, you're gonna notice the club is gonna run into the wall really quickly, right? If you are doing it correctly, I want your right hip to move backwards, right? And your club, if you turn in your posture, it's not really ever gonna run into the wall. Okay, you can do it too steep, and you'll notice your head will drop if you do it too steep. But if you are the right distance from that wall and you're turning in your posture, you're not gonna run into it. That's going to be more of standard, right? This is an 8-iron. Just remember also that you will tend to turn a little bit flatter as the club becomes longer. So you can still do that with the wall. Just give yourself just a little bit more space as the club becomes longer, because you will inevitably start to turn just a little bit flatter. Okay, but make sure that right hip is always going deep. That if your right hip doesn't go deep and it moves forward like this, then you're always going to be that early extender. You're really going to struggle with it. Right, now the next part. So when you are set up, you got that fist width, you know what it feels like not to take the club inside, you know what it feels like to turn your shoulders correctly, right? This is how the arms are going to start to work. So as you take the club back, the arms are going to start to ride up that wall. Okay, you're not going to run into it. I'll show you a different angle here so you can see how that works. With your wall, or we're going to use the net back here. So, our good setup. Make sure our shoulders are turning the correct way. You can tape yourself doing this. Right, as you take the club back. All right, good positions there. And then you're going to let your right arm start to fold, and it will ride up that wall. Okay. If you find yourself running into it, you're going to be too flat. If you're too close to the wall, the hands will be too steep, and you're just going to find yourself lifting it straight up and down. So make sure you find the distance that works for you. Everybody's going to be built a little different, so you're all going to set up a little differently from the wall. I tend to like to prefer a swing that is a little bit of a flatter plane. I'm more of a one plane swing type guy, especially as I got older. All right, so our takeaway comes top of the wall. All right, I like to see the left arm and the body pretty much, and the shoulders match each other. That's just me. Arms in the good position, it matches my spine angle right here. All right, and then downswing move is pretty simple too. When we get to there, downswing move, you're going to feel like it drags on the net or drags on the wall on the way down to impact. So that's going to help you shallow it. And that's a move that I use with a lot of my players who are steep. Just feel like that club drags on the wall on the way down. Thanks for watching, and make sure you subscribe, and I hope some of these tips help you today.